jobs. I'm so glad
Thank
someone
you.
said it. Because I didn't even think. Okay.
Wait, I had the moment. I had the math moment, but just now. Now we're good.
It truly happens to the best of us. But what I was saying is we'll do jobs, and then after that, oh, Julie, you used the right word, the greatest word for it, and I can't remember it right now. Courtesy words, like nice, polite words, that kind of stuff. And then another one's going to be just like different objects, and then some like verbs, like action verbs kind of things. So it's kind of like I said, a hodgepodge. So all right, let's start with our jobs. So the first sign I'm going to show you is the sign for job, which is actually the same. It's the sign for work. So what you're going to do is you're going to have two S's, and you're going to put your dominant hand on top of the non-dominant. And what you're going to do is you're going to tap it. Work. Like I'll turn it sideways. Work. Work. And you don't want, so you want your non-dominant to move at all. Your only hand moving is your dominant. Work. That can also be meaning like, oh, I have to work on my like assignment. I need you to go, and I know that's very much related to school, but like I have work to do. Like I have things I need to do.
If you were going to say there's road work, is that the same?
So actually that one, that's a good one. I was so ready to be like, yes, you would say work, but then you said road, and I went, wait. So if you technically did say road work, no one's gonna be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But the like technically like the correct way probably would be like, well, you still could say, I would probably go road work, and then I would probably say road they're fixing. Like I would do the sign for fix, which is like two little hand puppets, and they're kind of flat, and then the fingertips brush against each other. Fixing, fix. That's the sign for fix or fixing. So I'd probably be like road fixing. Yeah, probably like you're throwing me off. I'm trying to think of how I was saying. I keep changing my mind every time. I'm like, road work. If I was having a fast conversation, I probably would do road work, just because like that's simple. But like if I want to make sure like that was a key like importance to the detail, I'd probably be like road work, fixing it, cleaning it, whichever, things like that. I would describe it. But you wouldn't go wrong with road work. But yes, so the sign for there's technically the sign for job is just work. If you really wanted to be specific, you can fingerspell job. That was something I was told, but I was like, I'm just gonna use work. I mean, like I think they're the same, but there might be some people who are like, no, it's a big difference. One is a job. I do work for my job, but I don't. I'm like, okay, you can fingerspell job if you have to. Okay. The next one is going to be teacher, which I know we did last week, so I'm going to review it again, which was, so you're going to do teach, where you bounce it back and forth, and then you're going to add that person. So teacher. Teacher. Good. All right. The next one is going to be librarian. So what you're going to do is, and if y'all remember from last week, I made the comment about how most like job titles add that person at the end. So you're going to see this now. So for librarian, what you're going to do is you're going to do the sign for library, which is an L, and then you're going to do a circle motion. Library. All right. So librarian. Library person. Good. The next one is going to be artist. So artist is going to be the sign for art. The sign for art is you have your non-dominant hand out. Dominant is going to be it's going to have your pinky up, and you're just going to do like a squiggly line on your hand. Art. Artist. Art person. Good. All right. The next one is lawyer. So lawyer is going to be the sign for law, which we did all the way back when we had our family, and it was the L, you tap it on the top and then the bottom. So law. So lawyer. Law person. All right. The next one is going to be, I know this one's kind of, I guess it's based more with school, but it's always a good one to have, is student. So the sign for student is going to be the sign for learn with that person at the end. So the sign for learn, which we have done, but I'll do it again. Yeah. Is you have the pull to your forehead. Learn person. And that's student. I'll add this here because it's always, some people when they're doing their jobs or signs, they'll do kind of like that. I said that shorthand, like that faster way. For example, for student, they'll go student. Like they don't even, we don't move that hand all the time. It's like student. So if you see that, it may throw you off, but it's still student. They'll do that for teacher, or teacher. Like it's so fast sometimes. And I think it really just impacts about the environment you're in, like where you're at, you would see it more often. So, but I just thought I'd add that sometimes it might be a little bit like they're faster with it. All right. The next one is doctor. So doctor, you're not going to add the person to it. Doctor, the whole sign for doctor is the doctor itself. And it's going to be doctor. So your non-dominant hands palm up, dominant hands in that kind of like that bent hand. And you're going to tap it at your palm, or not palm, the base of your hand. Doctor. Doctor. The next one is nurse. Nurse is very similar to doctor. So we're going to have, again, our palm up. This time it's going to be just the 2 fingers. Nurse. Nurse. And this is also like the same thing as doctor. You're not going to add that person at the end. It's just nurse. Okay. I'll do one more and then we'll go back through those. The next one is a chef. So chef, you can go either way, adding that person or not. Either way works. So what you're going to do for chef is the sign for cook. So your non-dominant palm is up and you're going to start with your dominant on top and you're going to flip it back and forth. So, okay. I know I have a very weird, I can see some people, they're like, wait, where's my hand go? Yeah. So it's like, imagine this is the pan that you're cooking with. And then you have the pancakes and you flip them back and forth. Yeah. So this is cook. So you do cook, person, or if you're just like, if someone's specifically asking, what's your job? Like, what do you do? You could say you cook, like you're a chef. That it kind of goes either or with that. Okay, so let's go back through what we've done. So we did the sign for work, which is work. And you want to make sure it's like the base of your hand is on top of it. Yeah, work. Then we had teacher, teacher, teacher. Then librarian, librarian. It does not matter which direction you do your L. If you do it out or in, it's still library. I've had someone ask me that before, so I wanted to clarify that. Then we had artist, artist, artist. And then we had lawyer, lawyer, lawyer. Then we had doctor, doctor. Then nurse, nurse. And then student. So learn, person, learn, person. And then chef, chef. Or just chef, yeah. I will say real quick on this, these are where the words, when I'm signing or I'm having a moment where, like, because I've done this at school, where I will talk in ASL, this is where it comes through. This is where you can easily tell that I may be talking, but I'm definitely signing in my mind. And so, like, for example, I'll be like saying, what will I say? I'll go teach person. Like, I'll be talking and I will verbally say teach person. I won't say teacher. I will say teach person. Or I'll say, like student person or like learn person. Like I will just say them, I will say the actual sign actions. And this is where I caught myself with that. It's just a little, I thought it'd be a little funny tidbit.
Hey, Gillian, what was
Yes.
the sign for do? You went like,
Oh, okay. It's like little crab pinchers. What do? And this is technically, so this is what do, which is your, think about, that's like kind of your general, what are you doing? Like what's that? What are you doing? What do you do as a job? That sort of thing. So what do, that's what it's called. What do? I realized we didn't add that with the, oh my gosh, we've never done that with the questions. Oops. Yeah, what do? So you can go up to people and be like, what are you doing? I have students when they're nosy, they'll come up and go, what are you doing? Like they literally, this is what they sign to me 20 times a day. Is what are you doing? What are you doing? So what do? Okay. So our next little list of, oh, no problem. Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. And you can always watch the video later with the rest of the words. Sorry, he's in a little chat. But yeah. Okay. So the next sign I was going to say is, so for business person, like if you're a businessman or businesswoman, what you would just do is you would do the sign for business, which we learned, I think last week, which was business or busy business person. And you really don't have to add that man, I mean, that woman or that man. If you want, you can. That's like a personal choice. But most of the time, it's just business person. Business person. Okay. The next one we have is president. And so for president, what you're going to do, which we might have done, I feel like it's something we've done before, but if we haven't, we're doing it anyways. You're going to start with like open C's at the side of your forehead. And you're going to pull out to horns. Like, let me pull back. President. So you'll pull it and it goes like C's become S's. Think like that. President. And it's, the visual I have is like a bull. It's president. Like you're
okay,
making.
Gillian, to clarify,
Yes.
is this every kind of president? Like if you're going to say sorority president or president
Yes.
of the club of blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yes. This is the general wide president. If you were going to talk about the president of the United States, you would do president USA. You would add that part. If you're talking about, I almost said England president. That's not a thing. They have a queen. Oh dear. It's been already 2 days, guys. But yes, president. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, the next one is therapist. So what you're going to do, you're going to do the sign for therapy, which the sign for therapy is you're going to have your palm up. Your dominant hand's going to be in that shape of a T. And you're going to tap it on top. And this is therapy. So you go therapist. 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 Excuse me. The next one is psychologist. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the sign for psychology. And so psychology is going to have your non-dominant in this kind of open palm, like open thumb hand shape. Your dominant is going to be the same one. You're going to put it between your thumb and your hands. Now, you're just going to tap it, and this is psychology. Now, if you remember from last week, we had annoying or bother, which was annoying, bother. And so it's very similar, very easy to mess up. So annoying and bother is you're going to have your hand facing you, like it's bothering you. And then the psychology is going to have your hand facing outward. It's a very, trust me, this is probably, those two are the most easy ones to get confusing. And I think most people know that. So if you did accidentally say bothering person, they will probably ask you, do you mean a psychologist? Like, I feel like that would start to spell it to you. Like, but yeah, psychologist is that backhand. Psychologist. All right. The next one is a manager. So, and this is the type of manager for like any kind of managing position. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have two X's, put them sideways like this, and you're going to bounce, you kind of bring them back and forth. And this is a sign for manage. So you do manage Manager. If you have anything like special, like specific, like labeling before it, like general manager or that's all I can think of. Guys, I don't have a lot of managers. We're a school system. We have teachers and admin. But you would finger spell the word before that and then add manager. So like if you're like, I don't know, the food manager, like the food, you could do food manager, but any kind of really like fancy word, I would finger spell before it. Okay. The next one is going to be server. And so for server, what you're going to do is you're going to have open palms like this. And you're going to do that same motion we did for manager, but you're going to bring it back and forth. Server. So serve, person. Serve, person. I was thinking about like handing off the plates when you're handing off the different plates for the people. That's what I think of. Okay. Then we have counselor. So for counselor, you're going to do counsel. Non-dominant's in a fist. Dominant's going to be in that kind of that hand puppet shape again. And you're going to push it outward. Counsel. 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 The visual I have here is that you are giving advice, like you are giving people information or giving kind of like influence, counseling or counsel. So you go counselor. It is the same sign as teacher. Typically what I do for that, if I'm talking about a professor, like when I've talked with my students at school about my college experience, like, oh, I had this teacher, this professor, I typically will sign teacher and then finger spell professor so that they know specifically what kind of professional educator that I'm talking about. So that's what I typically will do. But yes, just the general Y professor is also teacher. Where are we? There we go. The next one is clown. I know that's very, very randomly off, but here we go. So clown's going to be this open C. You're going to put it on your nose and you're going to just kind of tap your nose. Clown. And so very much the big old nose I got, little red nose. The next one is going to be astronaut. And then after this, we'll stop and go back through the ones we've done. So astronaut is going to be rocket person. I'm going to say that now so you know. So the sign for rocket is you're going to have your hand sideways, non-dominant sideways. Your dominant's going to be in an R. You're going to have it on the side and you go rocket. So rocket person, astronaut, rocket. I think this sign's always cool. One of my favorites. And fun fact, the sign for the sign for Huntsville is Huntsville. It's the same thing but with an H because of the rocket space and rocket center up there. A lot of towns will have their own like sign names. Some of them not as popular, like some of them not as common, but Huntsville's got its rocket. I thought that was so cool when I found that out. Okay, the next one is a judge. So judge is also obviously because we call it judge, it's the same thing. And so what you're going to have is two F's, bring them sideways, and you're going to bounce them back and forth. Judge. Judge. And this, like I said, this can be for the person, like a judge. You can't add that person if you're talking about, well, you need to decide, like you need to judge this because you're the judge. You can add that person at the end. Judge. Some people will do decider, like the sign for decide, which is decide. It's the same, but at the same time. So decide, judger. They'll do that for judge too. Yes, Birmingham does have its own sign. And it's a B, and you're going to bring it close to your cheek, and it's bouncing it down. Birmingham. This is Birmingham. Yep, it's got its own. There's a few other towns that'll have some, but the problem is that I will ask different people and they always have a different sign for them. Like Trustville has like 7 different signs. Still don't know the correct one. So it's just, I finger spell Trustville and they usually figure it out by then. All right. Oh, principal. No, I said I was going to review. Sorry. All right, let's go back. So we went business person, so businessman, businesswoman, business person, business person. Then we had president, which I'm going to lean back for, our weird president, president. Then therapist, which was that open palm, T, tapping on your hand. Therapist. Then we had manager, manage, those two X's, manager. Then server. Then counselor. Then clown. Astronaut. Excuse me. And then judge. Or like I said, the other one was just decide person. I know those two are kind of confusing. Really, I've done this one and I've done this one. They're very similar. And if you think about it, judging and deciding are very similar as well. Yes, no, that's exactly it. I didn't know if people would catch that, like the scales of justice. Yes. I was like, I don't know if I always like to say my visuals, but I was like, maybe this is not, no, I won't do that one. It might be too vague. So I love that the one time I choose not to say it, like my visual, it's when it actually people are like, oh yes, no, I got that. I'm like, yes. Okay. So the last two jobs I have, after this, I'll see if there's any other jobs you guys can think of or if you're curious of. And then after that, we'll move on to my other little list of words. So the last two I have are principal and specialist. So principal is going to be a fist. You're going to have your dominant hand in that P shape, and you're going to go principal. So you make like a little circle motion and then tap it. And it's going to be your middle finger that taps it. So principal. Principal. And this one, you don't have to add that person at the end. It's just principal. All right. And then the last one was specialist. So specialist is going to be also the same time for professional. So they're very the same. And you're going to have your non-dominant in a B. Bring it on your side. Your dominant's going to be in that P. And you're going to, well, let me turn sideways so you see. I'm going to slide it across the top of my hands. Special or professional person. Specialist. I've not really seen one that's trying to think. I've always seen it with the P. That's why I was trying to think. I know that's probably more English than it is ASL, but that's the one I typically do see more as professional. Another one for that they'll use is skilled, which the sign for skilled, like you're very talented, very skilled, is going to have this F. You bring it to your chin, and you just kind of make it's like an aggressive, like bringing it, like, wow, that is cool. Skilled. Skilled. So sometimes someone will say a skilled person as their professional. I've seen those two interchange. Okay. Are there any other jobs you guys can think of? I knew someone was going to have a list. Okay, perfect. I love how I don't have some of these. So let's do police first, because that one's an easy one. Police is going to be, you're going to have this like single C, and you're going to bring it on the opposite side of your chest. So think of like the badge, police. The next one, fireman, is going to be a B, and you're going to bring it to the front of your forehead. And this one is, if you think about visually, like their helmet with that big, like kind of shape, is that fireman. Veterinarian is just vet, V-E-T. Or you can say animal doctor. That one you can do. They go back and forth. Scientist, and then biologist. I saw that over there. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how you would say scientist, biologist, and chemist, because they're all very much the same thing with just one slight change. Scientist is going to be 2 A's, and you're going to bring in, imagine pouring beakers, like that kind of motion. Scientist. Sometimes it'd be with the S, but most of the time it's that A. Scientist. So this is the sign for science, and then you add that person. So scientist. If you are a biologist, you're going to do this now with a B. So B, biologist. Biologist. If you are a chemist, you will do it with a C. Chemist. Chemist. So yeah, I love that they're all very much similar. It makes it so much easier. An athlete. Okay, so an athlete is going to be A, and you shake it back and forth. Athlete. Athlete. Usually that kind of ties in with the like what kind of athlete you are. Like if you do track, which is 2 T's, you're gonna go track, back and forth. Track, athlete. We're gonna spiral into the different types of sports. Oh, ecologist. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you now, I think you're gonna have to fingerspell ecologist. I have unfortunately not seen a sign for ecologist. Accountant. That one I've seen fingerspell. You could always add the sign for account, which is non-dominant, like sideways. Your dominant's in an A, and you tap top and bottom. Accountist. Accountist. I could see that, but I also can see just saying accountant. I love how I add that tist at the end. That's not really, it's an accountant, not an accountist, but y'all knew what I meant. Engineer. Okay. So engineer is going to be 2 Y's. You're going to have your thumbs touch each other, and you're going to bounce, and it can be the right or left. It depends. It just whichever preference you have. You're just going to bounce it. Then you can add that person, because this is technically measurer, engineer. But yeah, there's a ton of jobs out there. Any more you guys can think of? Politician. Okay. Oh, I know this one. Sorry, I don't use this one often because I'm having to think. A cartoonist. Okay. Y'all give me so many. Most people are like, I don't know. We're good. And like, I'm trying to think of them all. Politician. Politics. I think it is. Okay. So anything related to the government is usually up around here. Like the sign for government is a G to your forehead. So I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a P to the side of your head. Person. Politician. I will double check on that. If you sign that and someone gives you crazy, I just say it's politician, and then you can be like, my ASL teacher also teaches like kids, like math. She doesn't talk about politics, so just kind of save me from that because I'm pretty sure it's politician, but like I said, it's not one I use often. A cartoonist. So with cartoonist, what I would do is I would add the sign for drawing, which very similar to our art, but it's with a pointer finger. Draw, or if it's like that D, draw. This is also for design. So I'd probably say I'm a drawer, like I draw, and then I would probably fingerspell cartoonist to be specific, just to kind of make that clear so they know. But if you master fingerspell cartoonist, it's very, very fun to fingerspell fast. Just saying. Volunteer. Okay. So volunteer is going to be, you're going to have this like kind of 9 shape. You're going to literally pull on your shirt and you're going to pull it up. This is volunteer. And that is also for like asking for people to volunteer. Like, do you want to volunteer? Do we have any volunteers? Oh, I volunteer here. Like it's the general volunteer. Volunteer. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any more. And like I said, all else fails. If you really can't think of a sign, you can always fingerspell it. Like the job, you can always fingerspell. And I promise you, most of them probably will not judge you for it. They will give you the sign even. So, gosh, Okay, actor, which is the sign for acting, is going to have 2 A's, and you're going to bring them down like this. So actor, actor. This is the sign for acting, like act. This is also the sign for drama. Most of the time when you're talking about like a TV show, like I always I'll go TV show, like acting kind of thing like that. But for the plain general actor, you would go act person. Musician is going to be the sign for music, which I'm going to turn so you can see better. Non-dominant is in this kind of curve shape. Your dominant hand is going to go back and forth. Think about that movement of music like that. So this is music. And what you do is you go music person. Music person. Director. That one I would probably fingerspell, because in my mind, I would think about maybe being like, I would say like that movie director. If you're just, if it's not movie director, like you're a director of something else, I would probably fingerspell director. Or you can add that movement and then fingerspell director, so they know it's not a manager position. A writer. Gosh, you guys are coming in. Okay, so writing, so the sign for write is you're going to make this like little, like, looks like you're about to put a dot kind of deal. And you're going to scribble on your hand. Writer. Writer. That's also what you use for author, just saying. And then illustrator is also artist, like drawer, artist. Okay. If you guys have any more, just bring them in. I'm going to move down next to, because I want to make sure we get some of these other words in, to our, like, oh, I forgot the word, courtesy words again, which there aren't that many, but there's enough that we should be able to say. So the first one I'm going to do is the sign for thank you, which I know we've seen it, but I'm going to redo it again. Thank you. Thank you. If you really want to be like, you know how we go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you. Like you repeatedly motion, like thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, that kind of thing. Then we had our please, which is please, that open hand. You're going to do a circle motion. Please. Then the next one I have is sorry. Sorry is similar to please. Yes, with that A in a circle motion. Sorry. The next one I have is excuse me. So excuse me. And this is not the excuse me for like, I mean, you can do it when you say, when you sneeze, but this one's kind of more like for when you're being like, excuse me, like you're trying to move around or something like that, or you bump into someone. And it's going to be like, think about when you do the, like the fake money, like the make it rain, you know, that the kids always did that. Yeah, it's that motion. Excuse me, excuse me. And it's kind of like, I'm putting my hand on top, like that beat on top as I'm brushing it away. Excuse me. And then I will recommend don't do it one time, because if you do that, that's the sign for fired. Like you are fired. Very fun, very interesting little conversation to learn that one. But yeah, excuse me. Some kids, when they're being just trying to be all, you know, they're trying to be all cute, they'll go, excuse, like the tiniest little, like, excuse, like they don't want to like bother you. I have one student who, like, if I'm not looking at her fast enough, she'll just like stare at me with the tiniest little motion, like she's not trying to be like, excuse me, but she's like, tap, 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 tap. I have some very fun, interesting kids, y'all. So, excuse me. The next one I have is mistake or accident, like, ooh, sorry, that was an accident. And what you're going to do is it's going to be a Y. You're going to start on the closest side to your arm. So if you're right-handed, it's on the right side. And you're going to bring it across. Accident. Accident. Mistake or accident. Yep. Accident. That's another sign my kids love to use all the time. Even if it's totally, I'm like, I watched you throw that pencil. And they're like, oh, it was an accident. I'm like, you were aiming. Oh, some of these kids will deny anything. Okay. The next one we have, did we ever do good and bad? That was something I was going to ask. Have we ever? Okay. Yeah, so we did our good, like for good morning, good. What you're going to do for bad is you're going to just do opposite, like you're going to twist it. Bad. Bad. So good, bad. All right. The next one I had is sick. I don't know if we've done sick before. I don't think we have. Yeah. I don't usually have it in my like description. So sick is going to be your two middle fingers. You're going to put one on your forehead and one kind of like, it's not fully down on my stomach. It's a little bit above. It's like right where my sternum is, I think. And you go sick, sick. If you're like really sick, what typically what will happen is like to emphasize just how sick they'll go. Like, I mean, they'll pull that, they puff out their cheeks like, oh my gosh, I did not leave that bed. I was sick. Like, yeah. But if you're just like, oh, I'm just a little sick. The next one I have is medicine because it goes with being sick. And so medicine is going to be palm up. It's that middle finger again. You're going to put it at the palm and then you just shake it. Medicine. That's just the generalized medicine. If you're talking about cough, like liquid medicine, or taking pills, anything like that, that's medicine. Sometimes when it's talking about like taking a pill, it like they'll flick it into their mouth. Like it was a pill. It wasn't liquid. It was pill medicine. Okay. Let's go through those. I know I've gone a lot. We have 20 minutes left. I'm trying to give them as many. You guys gave me so many different jobs. And I was like, I love this, but like, I want to make sure we get all these other signs in. So let's go back through some of them. If that's okay with you guys, I'm not going to go through the signs on the side because I know that might take a minute. I'm just going to go through the ones that were the general courtesy ones. And then the random ones that came with it. So we had our thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We had please. Please. We had sorry. Sorry. And if you're truly sorry, make sure you really show it on your face. I'm really sorry. Because that's how they're going to know. Because if you go, sorry, they're going to know you're being sarcastic. Trust me. I've got caught with that before. It was my friend, so it was okay. But I was like, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, you're not sorry. I was like, no, I'm not. All right. And then we had good and bad. So good, bad, bad. Then we had mistake, mistake, mistake. Ooh, I'm going really fast. Sorry. Mistake. Mistake. Then we had sick. Sick. I know you can't see my hand, but sick. And then our super sick. Ooh. Then medicine. Medicine. So you want to make sure all your like other fingers are up and it's just your middle finger that's pointing down. Medicine. Medicine. Okay, now let's go on to our objects. So the first one I have is chair. So chair is going to be, and this also going to have some verbs with them too, because like I said, I think I'll show when I mention it. I'll mention it when I show it. That's what I meant. So chair is going to be 2 H's and you're going to tap it on top. This is chair. Chair. And you want to make sure you do it at least 2 times for chair. Reason is because if you do 1 time, that means sit. Sit. Chair. Sit. Yes, I always add a little, like I have to add emphasis. Sit down. So that helps me remember it better. So chair, sit. So you're welcome is an interesting one because technically the way you do your welcome is not really like in ASL, it doesn't actually translate it because you go, you're welcome. Welcome. Like you bring it, you like kind of make a C curve to yourself. Problem with that is that's more like saying, welcome here, you're welcome, like we're welcoming you, that kind of thing. And so some people will say that's not technically saying you're welcome. So what most people will do instead of saying you're welcome is they will do like a thumbs up or like we're good, that kind of thing. Yeah. Most of the time, if I see you're welcome, I mean, I see it and we'll do it, we know, but like it's not a commonly used one, which I know it's kind of crazy. Okay. The next one I have is table. So table is going to be your non-dominant across. Your dominant is going to come on top and is going to pat it. Table. And this is going to be any type of table. So dining room table, desk can also be that kind of way. If you're talking about like a table, like I have a desk table. That's what we use at school for saying desk is this table. The next one I have is pencil / pen. And you're going to do exactly what I said you do for writing. And it's right. Pencil. Pencil. If you are specifically asking for a pen or a pencil, I would add pen to it. So if you're like, I need something to write, because they're going to be like, oh, you need something to write with, but they're not going to know specifically if you need a pen or a pencil. Most will ask you though. Typically at our school, because most people use pencils, we emphasize pen, but maybe like a different business or something, they may mainly use pens. So you might have to be like, oh, I need a pencil, things like that. Okay. The next one I have is window. So window is going to be 2 B's. You're going to put them on top of each other. Window. 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 Now, cool thing about window is if you're trying to tell them to open or close the window, what you're going to do is for open the window, you're going to kind of tap and then open window. So that's open your window. Close your window is close the window. Sometimes I always will go, I'll tap it first and then I make that motion of closing just to emphasize in the beginning, I'm talking about a window. Close. Close. All right. Then we have door. So door is going to be 2 B's. You're going to have them together like this. And depending on the way your door opens, it's not at the end of the world if you don't do it right, but like I think it's kind of cool is how it opens is how you will use it. So if you're talking about it's a double doors, like if you have like the French doors, open the door or just door. If you're talking about just one door, like it's just a single door, door. If you're talking about opening a door, it's the same thing. Open. Close is going to go close the door. Close the door. Very visual, which is why I love that. All right. The next one is going to be the sign for, I think we've done it, but the sign for lights, like the type of lights, ceiling lights, things like that. What you're going to do is you're going to have make that shape of like the 8, and you're going to flick under your chin. Light. Excuse me. So if you were going to say lights on, like I want the lights on, you would go light, and you would start with these like closed little zeros and go lights on. If you want lights off, you'd go lights off. So it's like you're sucking in the light from it. So lights. If someone's trying to say like flashing the lights, like you're flashing lights, you'd go lights. Like they just keep doing that on. Yeah. Okay. Then I have on and off. So like if you're talking about something like turn it on, turn it off, things like that, you're going to go. So on is going to be non-dominant's a fist, dominant's open hand, on. If you're talking about something off, you would start in this position. So like if I was saying, oh, it's off, I go off. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go through those real quick. Then I have a few more, and then I'll try to leave some room for you guys if there's any other signs you can think of. So we had chair. chair. And you want to make sure, yeah, it's on top of each other. Chair, and then sit. Sit. Then we had table. Table. Pencil or pen. Pencil. Then we had window. 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 Then we had open window. Open. And then close the window. Close. Or close. Then we had door. Door or door. Can you stop? You hold on 10 minutes. We're almost done. He's being needy. Sorry. Stop. So double door, single door. So we have our open the door and then close the door. If you ever have someone being like you're trying to tell the story and someone's being dramatic and saying to slam the door, what you would do is you would just add gusto to it. Like they slammed it. Oh my gosh, some of my kids slammed the door and I have to look at them and I go, that door, it shook. I heard it because they don't realize it. They don't realize how loud it can be sometimes. So if I'm saying, sorry, someone asked a question. So when I use it, if I was going to say that, like if I was trying to say sit down in that chair, I wanted to say that. What I probably would do is I'd go that chair, like I'd go chair point, and then I would do sit. So they knew the object I was talking about first. I want you, that chair, you see that chair? I want you to sit in it. That. I think usually having the verb kind of near that end like that helps them know, oh, that's what you want me to do. So, yes, that's how I would do that. Same thing for like saying that window, like the window, open. Like I'd point, I'd go window, and then I make that emphasis of like opening it. Okay. Lights. So we had lights, and then we had our lights on, and then lights off. And then our last two we had on and off, just in the sentence. So on, and then off. And that could be also just turning on like the TV, turn it on, TV off, that kind of thing too. It can be used for kind of different things like that. Okay. The next thing I have is, which we might have done, but I'm going to do them again, is the 3 signs of like how you would describe deaf, hard of hearing, and hearing. Okay. So the first one, deaf, is you're going to have this kind of like D shape. You're going to start at the corner of your mouth with the pointer finger, and you're going to bring it to your ear. Deaf. 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 The next one is hard of hearing. And what you do for hard of hearing is you're going to have that H and you're going to bounce it. Hard of hearing. Hard of hearing. Very simple. Simple. Hard of hearing. The next one is hearing. So hearing is going to be this pointer finger, and you're going to make circular motions going upward in front of your mouth. Hearing. So if you see a deaf person come up to go, they're asking if you're hearing. Hearing. And you can do the exact same thing. Deaf. Interestingly enough, on that hearing, if you were to say public school, you actually technically go hearing school. Just saying. Public school is actually just hearing school. Again, another one I verbally say hearing school. I've said it to my mom multiple times, and she's like, what? And I'm like, oh, public school. Sorry, hearing school. Okay. The next one I have is say/said. So what'd you say? It kind of can be used for that. And what it is you go say. You just tap on your chin. Say. So what'd you say? Or I said, like that pointer, like it's usually when I'm saying like said, stop. Like I said, stop. That kind of thing. Said, say. Then tell or told. So what you'll do is you're going to just have that pointer finger at your chin and you point to who you're talking to. I told you to be nice. I told you, I told all of you. You do this whole circle motion. I'm saying I told everyone. It's very directional. So you got to make sure you're talking to who. So like if you're having a conversation with like 4 people and you have one person standing next to you and you're talking about like how I told them, I think this, you would go, I told them to the side. All right. The next one I have is ask and asked. Because like I said, there's really it's embedded if it's past or present. So ask is going to be, there's 2 ways you can do it. The first one is ask. This is also like requesting, like, oh, please, that kind of thing. Ask. The next one is ask. So it's like think about drawing a question mark with your pointer finger. Asked. This is the one typically for like saying, oh yeah, ask her, ask me, that sort of thing. Or I need to ask you a question, ask you. All right. Then I have repeat or again, which is going to be your non-dominant sideways. And you're going to go again. So if someone signs too fast and you don't catch it, you can say, please repeat, or sorry, again, that kind of thing. Yes, and add that slow. Some of them may keep kind of going fast. If you need to be like, I would emphasize. Oh. Okay. Then the next one is can. So can is going to be 2 S's, and you're going to go can. You just kind of bring them down once. Can. I just realized, did we ever do yes and no? No, we didn't. Man, usually I do that one in the first list. So yes is gonna, the reason I was about to explain is, so yes is going to be the same S, one-handed, yes. Or yes. You can do multiple taps. The same, it goes kind of either way. Yes or yes. No is going to be this kind of like 3, kind of start like in this curve, and you go, nope. Some people will do it close. Like if I'm saying it fast, like, they keep going, please. I go, this little fast little tap. Okay. So we had our can. Our can't is going to be 2 pointer fingers, and you're going to go can't. Can't. Okay. I know we have 3 minutes left. I'm going to leave it up to you guys real quick to see if there are any other signs you guys can think of. I have like 3 more, but I want to see what you guys have first. I want to make sure I get your guys' signs first. And I know Miss Katie's always said, and it's still true, is that if you ever want to join in on another class, or even just watch the videos from other classes, you can. You're more than welcome to. I think especially because Miss Katie send out the what's it called? The list. Don't you have all the list of the words?
Yes. Yeah, everybody gets a vocabulary sheet. But like Gillian was saying, all of the classes are on YouTube. You can go back and watch. Sometimes we have covered different words just because we've had someone in the class that wanted something specific. So even if you don't want to watch the entire lesson, you can always look at the topics and then look at the timestamps, and just go to words that you might not know. We would love to have you in class again. So don't be shy to ask to come back. And there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. So I'm going to hand it back to you, Jillian.
That works for me. That was exactly what I was trying to remember. Timestamps. That's the word. I was like, I know there's a word. She always does the timestamps, but I couldn't think of the word timestamps. But yes, are there any signs you guys can think of? Any words that like, you're like, I would really like to know what this one is, for the last few minutes. If not, I will say my last 3. And even though they will feel like I'm throwing them, I will just say them. I'm going to say them now. Okay, perfect. There we go. Oh, yes. I add that one because that is the next holiday. So for Merry Christmas, what you're going to do is you do happy Christmas. So you're going to do our happy. And then Christmas has a few different ways. The way we do most is you're going to have a C, kind of like this, but it's much lower and more comfortable. And you go Christmas, Christmas. So happy Christmas. Excuse me. If you were going to say happy holidays, you do the same happy. And then holiday is going to be 5, like the hand shape, holiday. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. I'm just trying to think. Hanukkah is the 4 Hanukkah. Hanukkah? That one's Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah. I don't think I know, unfortunately, any of the other ones. I've not seen any other holiday signs for different ones like that. But yeah, that's that one. I was going to add the word stop because I realized that one has also not been added. No, I don't think we've said, but I've done it multiple times probably. Stop. Stop. Yeah. I saw someone sign it earlier when I said, I told you to stop, or I said stop. And I saw someone copy stop and I went, we haven't done stop. So yeah, stop. Any others you guys can think of? Are we good? I mean, again, if you think of any, even during this time, if there's one you really are curious about, you can always email Miss Katie and we can save it for the next class. Or if it's something you're like, I really, really would love to know about this, we can find a way to get it to you.
Yeah, if you have questions, email me. You don't have to be in the current class. Happy to get in touch with Gillian. Any excuse to harass Gillian is a good excuse for me. So the next classes start January 9th. And we'll have January, February class. Then I think we have a March, April, a June, July, and October, November.
Yes.
I think that we try to skip May and December.
And then August, which I
in August. Yes.
Love. Thank you.
When at all possible.
End of May is the insane month of the year as a teacher. So yeah, no, when Miss Katie was like, I think we're just not gonna have, I was like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can just
it's
kind of
necessary.
But yeah, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this class and learning ASL. It's always fun. I hope you really also enjoyed learning about some deaf culture like stuff. I think they always tie in together, and it's just, I'm personally unbiased. It's always a beautiful language in my opinion. So but yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful like holidays. I was about to say Christmas, but Christmas, Hanukkah, any of your holidays that you guys celebrate. And yeah, stay warm. It's getting cold out there. But bye guys.
Bye everybody.
Thank you.